We have lots of craziness to talk about today, my friends. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. And it isn't definitely a dumpster fire today. We got so many things to get into. Oh my goodness, we got a civil war, of course, going on the right. We got updates on what's going on with this whole food stamp snap. We have some updates with people going to trial over it. Oh, illegals with $150,000 that they used from it. We'll get into that. We also have our president in this whole Halo game memeing, which is interesting because there's actually more to it than I thought. We'll get into that as well. We got this whole civil war going on, on the right, which is insane. And I'm going to try to make some sense of the whole thing. We're going to get into actually a ton of other stuff as well. Also, they're still fighting over this whole thing with bikinis and corn and just, it's like funny, man. It's like top news still. It's still top news. It's kind of hilarious. You would think the thing would finally die out, but no, it's still going. Actually, it's getting worse. And apparently it's just like the entire right is fighting right now, like everywhere, culturally, politically, just the whole 9 yards. Well, we'll start it off on a good foot, though. We'll start out with Halo. Apparently, they're making a new Halo game, Halo CE remake, and there's actually something to this, okay? It actually relates, believe it or not, to some of these topics. Check this out.
Good God, it is great to be back in much better fashion this time. Welcome home, all Halo fans. Today is a glorious day. We have so much to talk about. I am fucking hyped to talk about the CE remake. Not just because I put Halo 1 as like my number 2 game of all time. Just a few days ago, we had the 10-year anniversary of Halo 5. And
okay, so you're like, what does this have to do with anything I said in the beginning of the video? Well, when was this game made? 2016. This is the best game. Now think about, Infinity War, Endgame, with the whole thing with the Avengers, one of the top movies. When was that? That was like, I don't know. I don't know exactly. Maybe that was like 2015, 14. I don't know when that was, but it was like one of the top movies for the Avengers as well, right? And I noticed also our president is caught on to this. This game, obviously 2016, when did our president first get in? 2016. And of course, we had GameStop put out a tweet saying, we're not going to change the poster on our window until you actually make a better game. We haven't had a good game since 2016. We haven't had a good movie since 2016. And we need to see something change, right? So here we have our president memeing about it. We had Angry Joe freaking out over his post saying that he's nothing like the game. And we do have also this post from, what's this guy's name? Andy Mion. I've seen him before here on YouTube. He talks about how this game has actually got Christian themes in it. The game Halo, Master Chief Symbolism, John 1:17 is the name of the Master Chief, believed to be a reference to the verse John 1:17. For the law was given through Moses, grace came and truth came through Jesus, with the John and the number 117 symbolizing grace and truth. And of course, he's sort of a savior figure in the game, portrayed as a reluctant savior, a light in the darkness who sacrifices himself for humanity. So that's kind of interesting. And I also noticed that the game I play now, I actually quit playing. And by the way, Endgame, that movie was 2019. But at any rate, you get the idea. Like everything started to fall apart around 2016, right? Just everything in the culture. Then I started playing a game called Apex Legends around 2017. And I noticed the game just sucked. And in the end, ultimately, I quit the game. Had all these rainbow themes in it. It just was not a good game. And I ended up going back to a game I was playing back in 2016. Just like this game Halo, it was called Titanfall 2. So I just noticed how everything sort of fell apart after that year. At any rate, there's that. So I wanted to talk about also, like I said, a ton of stuff in this video. We got here Joe Rogan realizes Elon has exposed the biggest scam in history. Check out this.
If you care about insurance, illegal immigration is a topic of concern.
Because you mentioned, for example, how much, say, Hillary and Obama have changed their tune from prior speeches where they were hot-nosed about not letting in anyone who's a criminal into the country, having secure borders, all that stuff. So why did they change their tune?
And most people do not realize how this is actually working. Like, wait a minute, you're telling me that people are here illegally, using our banking system, going into debt, using credit cards. What happens to that debt?
And New York and California would be bankrupt without the massive fraudulent federal payments that go to those states to pay for illegals.
Their ability to balance.
Oh my goodness! So you see that? That's why these particular states did not participate when they were doing investigations on SNAP. We talked about it in a previous video. How none of the blue states they all refused to send in data on their SNAP program. Even with that being said, just looking at the red states, there was hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud. And we covered on this channel, actually on all my channels here that I run, 3 of them, that there were people getting 10,000, 15,000 in SNAP, right? Apparently that's not it. We got healthcare as well. All these things were funding, of course, these people coming in, bringing them all into our country, you and I, the taxpayer, paying for it, while they're cutting off, and I saw that in the comment section, so many people talking about how they were cut off. They were getting only $50 a month, and it was cut off. Why was it cut off? Oh, maybe because they wanted to fund these people that are not from our country so they can make sure they win the next time around. And this is what Elon, of course, was pointing out on Joe Rogan's podcast there. Kind of amazing, of course, but there is some good news in respect to this. The USDA announces partial SNAP benefits for $42 million amid shutdown. So that just came out 36 minutes ago. So that's some good news. So you guys will be getting some of your money, apparently, according to this latest headline. And like I said, we're going to get into a ton of stuff in this video. I got a video to show you of a guy on trial, an illegal, of course, 150,000 stolen from, what is it, SNAP? Yeah, it is SNAP. 17 million lost in Ohio from fraud. We'll get into all that and much more. We're going to get into this whole war in the conservative movement, which is hilarious. And the one person I think that makes the most sense here is Matt Walsh, believe it or not. What he says makes perfect sense once you start to understand what's all going on. We'll get into that. We're going to get into a ton of stuff. We're going to get into even some other stuff. First, I got to mention food supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. You definitely want to get this if you have not already. We talked about what's going to happen potentially on November 5th. They're talking about 1 million people. Of course, in D.C., maybe mostly peaceful. Hopefully it is. Kind of don't think so. Yeah, and apparently they're communists. That's kind of interesting as well. Oh, yeah, 1 million. Not the same as the No Kings. That's happening in 2 days. Might want to get prepared for it. Got this book here, The Lost Ways, How Your Great-Great-Grandfather Lived Without Electricity, How to Build a Cellar, Do Things Around the House as he did in the old days. Hundreds of pages illustrated. You could definitely need that before the power goes out. You never know what's next, my friends. You've seen all the wonderful insanity of the last 5 years. It's wise to be prepared. $37, get the printed version. Go check out all my other social media. I'm on X, Rumble, all that. I got 2 websites even. Go check those out as well. All linked below. I think it's the first link below. You have, of course, let's get back into this video. So we have here a guy in court stealing more than $150,000 from SNAP in Ohio.
Sorry?
On the screen in Franklin County Common Pleas Court, Ayanat Bizga, one of the 3 accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars out of Ohio's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP.
You understand?
You know what's so funny about this? He's probably just the one that got caught out of like 100. You know what I mean? Like, he's the one that probably did some really nefarious stuff once he got the money. He's probably like doing other stuff that was criminal on top of it, maybe. I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of other ones they didn't catch, right? And of course, the guy has to.
Yes, I understand.
Do you understand English?
Due to a language barrier, a judge continued his case and the case of Doina Maria Baselan that involves 5 counts, stating they engaged in a criminal enterprise starting last.
Look at that name, Doina Maria Baselan. Where's she from? I don't know. The name looks different, but you get the idea. So we have all of this now coming to light. And it is kind of interesting to see this. I think it's a big story. Not a lot of people are covering it, though. A lot of people are too busy infighting amongst the right, apparently, at this point, whether it's on the whole cultural thing with women and their role in a family, or if it's the whole thing with the Tuckmeister and Nick being interviewed by him. Apparently now they just had a conference. We're talking with that country in the Middle East, and a conference here in America amongst those on the right that are pro the country in the Middle East. I think you know which one I'm referring to. And then now they're going against those that are not so pro that country in the Middle East. And of course, Candace is not one of those that's pro that country, obviously.
MAGA civil war, at least that's what they are trying to brand it as. They say that's what's going on. But really, we all know it's more like never Trumpers have now infiltrated the MAGA movement, and they're trying to dictate the terms like we didn't notice. Randomly, Ben Shapiro apparently...
That is true with Ben Shapiro, kind of-ish. You know what I mean? Like, because he just... I mean, the first time around, he totally didn't like our president. He didn't like him pretty much the entire time he was in. He kind of likes him this time around, apparently. I'm not sure about all these other people, like Mark Levin and all the other ones, though.
Woke up this morning and chose violence. He put me in his anti-Tucker montage monologue.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what he had to say in a little bit. And it just so happened.
Yeah, Mark Levin, right? And so this is interesting because a little bit of a development going on here. We have those that are pro this country, okay? Israel, saying that we need to ban all these other people. They need to be kicked out. They're not part of the movement. That's what they're saying. So Candace should be kicked out. Tuckmeister, all these guys should be kicked out. Nick, of course, as well. I think Nick is the one they really don't like the most. But they don't like Tuckmeister now because he interviewed him. So Nick is like radioactive, and Tuck said, well, he's not really that radioactive, and interviewed him. And now it's like, well, that made Tuck radioactive now, apparently, according to these people. And I think Valhalla here is kind of right. He points out where this could go. And check this out.
And what I'm about to show you is ultimately why this has to be disavowed in America, because this is what's coming.
You're here because of the comments you made online about the Jewish community. Are you
so what?
No, I'm saying, are you?
I have a freedom of speech, dude.
Yeah, no, we get that. I get that.
We gotta make sure that you're not. Do you have a warrant?
No.
And what you're doing is basically soliciting. You understand that, right? Yeah. It means you're not welcomed here.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see, they're now visiting people for comments they made online. This is in Texas, apparently. This guy got interviewed or visited, whatever you want to call it, by these police about what he wrote online. And this is something we saw in Europe going on over the last so many years. And now you're seeing them literally kicking their doors down and arresting them for things they post online because they got that Online Safety Act in place. Now, again, I'm not anti this country. I'm not pro this country. The way I look at it, I don't like the leadership currently there because of the things they've been doing. I mean, change the leadership might be a lot better. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with the country. I have a problem with some of the leadership. Just like in America, like when Biden's in, I had a problem with the leadership here. It's the same idea. Now, this guy's on the left. This is the amazing Lucas. I used to watch him like a decade ago when he wasn't this way. He's kind of he's usually not, he doesn't have the best takes, but he has a good point here. He talks about Ben Shapiro and how he's reacting to the Tuckmeister and Nick. Check this out.
This has gotten to the point where Ben Shapiro put out a 41-minute video about the Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson interview.
That topic is the fragmentation of the political right. That fragmentation is being caused purposefully by a splinter faction of people led by a young man named Nick Fuentes.
I want you to understand, that is so dumb. So dumb. I couldn't believe like the misstep that these people are taking. What makes this 41-minute video so bad, what makes it just the worst thing ever, is that in this 41-minute video, he's doing a character assassination. And he's doing a character assassination of Tucker and Fuentes.
So that's the important part. They're not actually attacking their ideas. They're just doing character assassinations, and then they're calling for them to be canceled, which is just exactly what the left usually does. So it's kind of amazing. Ben Shapiro's doing what he said he was against, basically. He says one of his famous quotes is, "My facts don't care about your feelings," right? This isn't about him being logical and defeating somebody in a debate. It's about character assassination, which is a very cheap way of attacking someone on a political level. And so then you got here Mark Levin, and I used to love Mark Levin. I remember reading his books. I actually read at least one or two of his books. I remember when I was in an airport reading through one of his books back, that was a long time ago. What was that, 2010? I think it was 2010. I was reading Mark Levin. And, you know, he's got some great stuff that he wrote, you know, about America, the Constitution, stuff like that. He's a really smart dude. But he's very pro this country, okay, because he is a Jew from what I understand. I didn't even know that, but apparently now I do. And apparently now he's going after, you know, the Tuckmeister and all those. Check this out.
Anti-West crowd to understand something. You're going to have to come through me and millions of people just like me, and you're not going to make it. You think your stupid little podcast, or your stupid little subscription program, or your little TV show, or maybe you have a little radio show, is going to change the world like hell it is, not if I and everybody else have something to say about it. And I just want...
I mean, that's kind of interesting how he said that, you know, like you basically telling you that you have no chance of changing anything. Why wouldn't we have a chance to change anything? Mark, are you saying that everything around us is controlled? Is that what you're trying to say? What are you saying here?
American haters, Churchill haters, you're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them. It's called the market system.
A market system.
They don't have a lifetime job like a bureaucrat who we're going to protect. And if they're your friend, there's something wrong with you.
That's interesting. So how is that part of the market? You see what I mean? I have no problem with economics and markets. If someone don't want to watch me, they can just click off. They can unsubscribe. If they don't like me, they can just go and not watch me anymore, right? And then I would be unfunded. I would have nobody watching me. And I would be self-canceled in the aspect of, you know, because I'm not getting out. Nobody wants to watch me, right? But what he's talking about is something completely different. It sounds like he wants to just get rid of you, whether or not people want to watch you. See what I mean? And so this is obviously not a good direction to go for the conservative side. Then you had even people like this, Josh Hammer. And see here, this is where it gets very interesting because Dave Smith is a Jew as well, but he is not pro that country. So this is what's interesting. So you got someone who actually is one that's on the side he's not supposed to be on, right? And he's saying he blasts Newsweek's senior editor at large for seemingly calling for the Tuckmeister to be quote unquote neutralized. I mean, that sounds pretty bad. What's going on here, man? I thought this was a marketplace of ideas. I thought we all understood free speech is important. What are we doing here? What's going on? And of course, also I should play this. This is Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk about that one country over there, the size of New Jersey.
I am going to continue to ask the question, a 20-hour response in a country the size of New Jersey. That begs a big explanation. And more importantly, America is significantly underwriting the Israeli government $4 billion a year. We as American taxpayers deserve answers to this. We deserve answers. Also, if we're going to get into a regional or world war based on an intel failure, so, I mean, we pay for this. What are we buying, right? I got smeared as a conspiracy theorist because I said exactly what I just said. And I refuse to back down despite all the smears thrown at me because I learned during COVID. I learned when they told us that it came from a bat in the Himalayas. I learned when they told us the vaccine was safe and effective. I learned when they told us that...
like everything, right? They told us all these things over the last 5 years that ended up not being true. A lot of people don't exactly trust what they're being told anymore. And it seems like they don't like the fact that you don't trust it anymore. Right? Now, my whole thing is that obviously Nick has got things he says that are ridiculous. He said he loves Stalin. I mean, you can't even defend some of the stuff he's been saying. It's just pretty insane. And we'll get into that in a second here, how he defended Stalin, which Stalin was a horrible person. Like, what are you talking about? You're a fan of Stalin? Are you serious, bro? I'm not a fan of Stalin. Why are you a fan of Stalin, bro? Like, what are you talking about? And so I feel like everyone's just fighting over petty things, honestly. I think this is very petty. I think Matt Walsh is correct. We have a very short window of time where we control Congress and have the power to push an agenda forward, we're going to waste that window fighting with each other. We're going to squander everything. I'm furious, honestly. And I agree with him that this is ridiculous. Everyone's always fighting. And, at first I told you guys, I saw this a decade ago here on YouTube. When people got bored, when there wasn't a lot of great topics to talk about, they would just start doing infighting. Among the community I was in, they would just start fighting with each other. They start calling, oh, you're fake. Oh, you're the fake. And, just start making up stuff. And, we saw that with Candace and, this whole thing with Charlie Kirk. It just became a bunch of infighting. But now it's gone for so long. It's been months. It's been a couple months of this fighting. And I'm like, and it's just getting worse. I'm like, you guys you're not putting, I think, what's important forward. Like, the country's more important than your ego. I don't care what your opinion is on Stalin. I'm more interested in fixing our country. Okay. I'm not interested in, if you don't support a certain country over in the Middle East, then you should be canceled. Why are you doing that, dude? Just go forward and try to fix this country. Or is there more weird stuff going on in the background that we need to know about? Is it all your egos? Is it egos that is going on here? You're the one in control of this party? No, I'm the one. No, I am. How about you guys just get along? How about you just get along? And I think when they have this response with this conference, they're only making it worse. They're only making it worse because now they're going to feel like, well, yeah, I'm justified. Look what they're saying. We're justified in our opinions now. So that's why this is so ridiculous. I think Matt Walsh is right. Everyone just needs to calm down and let's go forward. And apparently because he said this, because Matt Walsh said, hey, let's just stop fighting, now they're calling him a racist. It's just hilarious, So the one who tries to be sound-minded, hey, guys, stop, fighting for nothing. And like, no, you're part of the problem too. It's just hilarious to watch. And so we'll get in. I think honestly, here's a good point. So Matt Walsh is saying there's much more important things to focus on, right? Like, for example, we have two mayoral candidates that could very well be taking over some of the biggest cities, like New York City, Zoran there, who's a communist, okay? Also a Muslim, also funded by a certain guy at the top, Soros. Maybe we don't want that guy to win. Maybe we should work together and stop some of this from happening instead of infighting all the time. You also have this thing coming up on November 5th. 1 million communists, apparently, going to surround various places in D.C. You see what I mean? It's a perfect time for them to do this. If everybody's infighting on the right, they could pull something off. Nobody's paying attention, right? That's a good thing to be concerned about as well. And the fact you also had our president calling for various people to be arraigned, including a former president. Yeah, man, it looks like there's some big things going on right now in the background. They're much more important than this silly infighting. And, I think Lauren Chen's right. Maybe we should just have a big debate between Ben Shapiro and the Tuckmeister. That would be a good idea. It should be more about a friendly debate than, a civil war, right? That's what it should be. It really should be. And it shouldn't be turned into this ridiculous stuff. Now, regarding Nick, I wanted to play this clip here of him talking about Stalin and why he likes him. And this is what I'm saying. I find Nick to be very childish in some respects on certain topics like this especially. Some things he says are very good. Some are not good at all. You know what I mean? Like, it would be really nice if the guy would just grow up and be realistic and actually have a decent, nuanced opinion rather than just saying crazy stuff to get views. Like, I love Stalin is something he said.
I know you like strongmen, but, you like Joe Stalin?
Well, look, I said it on my show. I think he's an evil guy. He's obviously an evil, ruthless person signing the death warrants of millions of people.
Thank you. I would avoid saying but after that sentence. So I agree with what he just said. Joseph Stalin, however you want to pronounce it, was an evil, disgusting human being who signed the death of millions of people.
By the way, the guy talking's named Metatron here on YouTube. He's a historian. All right.
I would put a period there, but to each his own, I guess.
But what I've always said, obviously an evil, ruthless person signing the death warrants of millions of people. But what I've always said is he is like the archetypal great man of history.
He is the archetypal great man of history. No, Nick Fuentes, I'd say I will strongly disagree with this statement. To me, the archetypal great man of history, well, personally, I would choose Yehoshua or Jesus, but I understand that the atheists are going to explode on me here saying it's not historical. I have several videos on Jesus' historicity, link in the description. But okay, they'll keep it secular for out of respect between us Christians. Jesus is. But...
So, yeah, I mean, go check out his channel if you like the guy. I mean, he's a pretty cool guy. Now, like I said, everyone's doing this infighting. They're not talking about the fact that you have these communists that want to... And there is this funny video I'm going to show you from Osmongold from 2019 about the Communist Convention. So maybe if the communists are like these people, I think we're okay. But if they're actually serious, we're not okay. Because we've seen what communists have done in the past in other countries like Russia, like under Joseph Stalin, right? Not good. But if they're anything like this video here, I don't think we got much. I don't know how much of a problem we really have. Maybe not as bad as we thought. Okay, check this out.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
This can't be real, right?
We have a lot of disabled comrades.
This has to be fake, bro. Like, there's no way.
What a democratic socialist convention is like, and it came out 6 years ago?
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please
This is the official video.
I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus.
Oh
Thank you.
my God.
Thank you, comrade. Is there a speaker against
Comrade.
name, chapter, pronoun?
Point of personal privilege. Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Oh my God, if these are the people protesting, I don't think we got to worry about anything, okay? So I don't know, man, like what the freak? But if they're actually serious, and maybe they've changed, maybe they're not like this anymore, I don't know. Maybe it's a different group of communists, but if they're like this, I don't think we got a lot to worry about. They're probably going to be running around in like, some Pokemon outfit or something. Who knows, right?
I have already asked people to be mindful of the chatter of their comrades who are sensitive to sensory overload, and that goes double.
Oh my God, it's so stupid, dude. They're not overthrowing anything, are they? I hope not. Oh my goodness. And of course, I mean, the madness of this world is still continuing. I like what Stephen here had to say. The Pope has gone silent, so Christendom is now under the stewardship of Nicki Minaj. Godspeed. Nicki Minaj. Reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. Okay, wait. Is she reading our president's tweets? Is that what she's doing? Reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. We live in a country where we can freely worship God. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order to respect each other. Oh my God, she's actually reading our president's tweets and agreeing with them. This is Nicki Minaj, bro. I mean, this is where our world has gone literally crazy. I saw a, what do you call it? Lady of the Night, one of these stars on movies, if you know what I'm talking about, Korn, right? Saying that, agreeing with the anti-Korn people, saying women need to stand up and show that they're over men. I mean, what the hell is going on here? This world's going insane. It's literally gone insane. Of course, you have here, what is this guy's name? G. Morgan, right? Crowder CEO. I forgot his name. I think it's G. Morgan or something like that. People debate whether God has abandoned that country in the Middle East. Scripture never shows him breaking his covenant because he doesn't. Actually, no, I don't agree with what he said on this because... Look, he's looking at it like it's a different... I know what he's trying to say. I think I understand what he's saying. Yes and no. Yes and no. Okay, so like, he hasn't broke his love for his people, obviously. He still loves his people. He still wants them all to come into the fold. Talking about the country in the Middle East. This one right here. Okay. He obviously loves this country and wants to bring these people to Christ. Okay, I agree with that. But to say that he hasn't broken his promises, but I would say they broke their covenant. Is that a good way to put it? They broke their covenant. He didn't break his promises, he being God. Maybe that's a better way to put it. So I think you can't conflate those two because there's a new covenant under Jesus. It's a new one. It replaces the old one. Okay. And we had also what happened in 66 AD, I believe it was, where you have the historian Philostratus, the historian Flavius Josephus, writing about how there were chariots in the cloud of fire surrounding, of course, Jerusalem. And those that were in the temple heard a voice saying, "Let's leave asunder." And they left the temple. And of course, the city was destroyed. That would be kind of like God saying, bro, I'm done with this. I'm done with what's going on here. You rejected me. I'm out of here. You see what I mean? I got a new covenant now. You see what I mean? Big difference. I would say that's a better way to put it into perspective than to say he didn't break any covenant, because they broke the covenant. They rejected his son. That's what happened. And of course, so I think you have to have a little nuance to it, because he hasn't forsaken his people. He still has promises for them in the future. And, you know, he still loves them, all that kind of stuff. But you can't, you see what I mean? I think you get the idea. Anyway, also, we still got this whole thing with feminism going on. The church has been assimilated by feminism so thoroughly that men conflate feminist ideology with religious doctrine. This is indeed true. And will fight you to affirm their convictions they hold because of it. Indeed, I 100% agree with this. Because what they teach today is not what they've been teaching for the last, well, 1,000 years ago, particularly in the church. They were not teaching what you teach today, that's for sure. And there's a lot of hypocrisy going on here. You got conservatives, you got women that say they're TradCon, that were at one time on that website only, of course, fans, like Nala. That's a good example. You had Ashley St. Clair getting knocked up by Elon, claiming to be a TradCon. There's a plethora of these women that have been propped up, got big accounts on X, saying they're TradCons, traditional conservatives, that were literally in these fields, okay? They literally were doing these things. And you got pictures like this of women who say they are taking pictures like this. It's just like, it's like a joke. And I've talked about this, I think, a month or two ago, a couple times, where it's like, you got Lauren, of course, Southern, for example, who apparently, according to rumors, has been with literally almost everybody in the movement. Like, been with, if you understand what I mean by that. Almost everybody that's big. I mean, it's disgusting. You know, they claim to be traditional. Oh, I'm traditional. No, you're not. And of course, they're the ones lecturing men on corn while they're posting pictures like this. It's kind of funny. And I showed also a picture over on my other channel. I think I have it here. Yeah. Riley Gaines, of course, saying if you're offended by this, it's a good chance you're the kind of man she's talking about. When actually she literally took a photo shoot for a calendar for men to look at. Literally. And she's saying that you should be against looking at women in calendars if they got nothing on, but it's okay if they're in a bikini, right? Which is kind of funny, but seems a little bit hypocritical to me. I guess you could say it's not, but I think it is. And so a lot of people are talking about this. And actually, there's even, I mean, they're still squabbling over this whole thing. And like I said, it all comes back to feminism. I think the real issue is not what the symptom of the problem. Corn is not if you get rid of that, it's not going to solve the problem. If every man tomorrow never watched it again, it's not going to solve any of these problems. You're still going to have the same problem. Why? Because you got feminism in the church. You got the Fed running amok, printing money in the background, stealing all your wealth. You got all these laws in the courts, disenfranchising men, making it one-sided, because always the woman, is the victim. It's never the man. Because of all these feminist ideologies all throughout America and various laws, et cetera, no-fault divorce, that's another problem. All these myriad of problems, it's literally going to be the exact same. You get rid of corn, you haven't solved anything. It's still all going to be there. All the same problems. You're still going to have a low birth rate. Everything's going to be the same. Literally. And it's because of how women have been taught, particularly in men as well, how to function in the society. back before 1970, before we went off the gold standard, before the Federal Reserve started printing money in the background, back then, one person in the home could work and provide for his family. His wife could stay at home, raise the kids. It worked out quite well for a family structure. You had enough kids to populate the country. You need 2.2 kids per family to maintain your exact population level. Not to grow, just to maintain it. Guess... You got to work. You got to get a degree. You got to get a job, and maybe when you're 40, you're lucky, and you might get married. And of course, like I said, it's been popularized to be single now, or to be trans, or whatever, and that's why our society is falling apart. At any rate, I think you get kind of the idea. Now, interestingly, we're seeing yet another atheist looking like he's coming to faith. We have Alex O'Connor here.
Christian. Some people say to me, like,
it's a funny word though, that anyway.
Yeah.
Like I'm less and less certain about the word.
Yeah.
You know what somebody said to me the other day? You're like this. The period of greatest growth ever in the history of the church was from 33 AD to 350.
Yeah.
And during this time, there was no church buildings.
Yeah.
No sermons.
Yeah.
But no singing.
Yeah.
And no Bible.
Yeah.
And like we get very tied up in all of those things and the labels and even the phrase Christian.
It's because it started at the lowest levels of society, because they were being oppressed, and they saw this as a salvation of their life, of their future, and that God would protect them and bless them in this life, and more so even in the next life. And that's why a lot of these people saw